Okay, I suspect I was invited to this session mainly to tell funny stories about Roger Billum, and while that would certainly fill 5 minutes and be deeply entertaining to all of us, it's not actually my purpose in giving this talk. Instead, and neither is my purpose to explore the incredibly rich and diverse set of data and scientific discoveries produced by the UNAVCO community. Instead, it's to convince you guys to think about that idea of the UNAVCO community in a very different way. So instead of the people in this room or even the extended scientific community with whom we collaborate as peers and friends and sometimes adversaries, I would like to urge you to think of the UNAVCO community as extending outward to essentially encompass all of mankind, in the sense that all people stand to benefit from our discoveries and from our adventures, whether because they live in a place where there's a profound threat or risk from geologic and natural hazards, like this woman in the Kashmir region of Pakistan, or because they rely on the very fragile web of ecosystem services provided by the hydrosphere and the very shallowest part of the solid earth, about which we know surprisingly little, or because, like all humans, they are intensely sensitive to this complicated interaction between the oceans, the atmosphere, and the solid earth that determine our day-to-day weather and our long-term climate. These people indeed are just as much a part of the UNAVCO community in the sense that they rely on UNAVCO, even if they've never heard of it, to help them make sense of the physical world in which we live. And in that sense of belonging to the UNAVCO community, because they use our products, we owe them a duty of explanation. And we owe them these scientific explanations even if they're not in a position to have the scientific training or the tools or the background or the understanding to make sense of these data streams themselves, even if they're in a position to be deeply skeptical of the patterns and practices and premises of science. In fact, we might owe those people an even greater duty of explanation. And then nested within that UNAVCO community that includes everyone in the world is another set of people that we interact with face to face in the practice of doing good science. And to these people, we also owe a duty of explanation and a duty of example. It might be an Afghan girl or a Somali girl who has a chance to see a woman holding a scientific instrument, or a woman asking a question, or just a set of people who have come to a place that is very familiar to these individuals, but ask questions that allow them to think about the natural world and the physical environment in a novel and new way. We might have an interaction with them on a very practical level. Perhaps it's a boy who has the afternoon off to fly his kite because we buy all of his bread in one go for a field team. But that could change his day, if not his life. Or perhaps it's a family where we can subsidize just one more goat that helps them weather a cold winter because they guarded a field instrument for a week or two. And to these people too, we ought to explain what we're doing and why. Perhaps it's an undergraduate who has a chance to actually poke holes in things and use a drill and realize that science is all about asking questions, not memorizing facts where we already know the answer. So the point of this talk is really to remind you and urge you, when you're confronted with that 14th cup of tea, or the 10th vodka shot, or that dusty, hot can of Miller Lite that's been rolling around the back of a truck, take the time to sit down, belly up, drink it up, and talk to the people that you're interacting with. Because the face of the UNAVCO community is not the person sitting next to you in this room. It's not even that person that you're emailing flaming emails about their data analysis to. It's actually these people who use our products, who use our discoveries, and who benefit not only from learning about what we're doing and why we're doing it, but who benefit from learning about what science is for and how we do it and the role it plays in the community of all mankind. Thanks.